When Savitri had grown up into full maidenhood and no suitor was coming to claim her hand in marriage, her father, Ashwapati, was, so to say, concerned about this girl. She has grown fully now. In manner of a story, he had a concern now to find a proper mate for her. But Ashwapati is a yogi. He goes in meditation, and there he received the command, the Adesh, the word. And then he tells to Savitri, his daughter, young daughter, Savitri, go forth in this wide world and find your life's partner. He is waiting for you somewhere in this world. In fact, these lines are very beautiful. We'll read some of them. 98.53. In fact, we can read from the previous line. 5.2. Yeah. Ashwapati is telling to his daughter, then shall you grow like vibrant kindred hearts. He and her lover, one in the bliss of difference and delight, responsive in divine and equal strains, discovering new nodes of the eternal theme. So, one force shall be your mover and your guide. One light shall be around you and within. Hand in strong hand, confront heaven's question, life. Challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise. Ascend from nature to divinity's heights. Face the high gods, crowned with felicity. Then meet a greater God, thyself beyond time. Now, this is what Ashwapati is telling to his daughter. It's a very powerful advice, injunction to Savitri. See, he is telling both. Hand in strong hand, confront heaven's question. That is your mission. What is heaven's question to life? Life, you are there, but you are accompanied by death all the while. That is the question. All the while. Challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise. That is the question. Challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise. He is basically telling, look, life is there, but life is also meeting death constantly. God or whosoever you call me, he has put on the disguise, and it is that which will be challenged. Challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise. In other words, Ashwapati, as a yogi, already knows what Savitri is supposed to do in her life. She has to meet the question of life. She has to challenge death, who is accompanying life all the while, and do her work in the company of her lover. For that purpose, she has to discover lover. Ascend from nature to divinity's heights. Now, she has taken the human birth, so from human nature, she has to ascend to her divinity's heights. Now, this is something which is in a way telling Savitri, Savitri, do yoga. In a way, it is telling Savitri, Savitri, do yoga, you see, to put it sort of crudely. To divinity side, face the high gods, the challenge of all these cosmic powers, crowned with felicity. They are gods of joy. Face them. But that is not sufficient. Then made a greater God, not the cosmic gods, but the supracosmic God, but the transcendental God, the Supreme Himself. Rise from your nature to the divinity side, meet the Supreme Himself. He is already charting out what he has to do. Meet the Supreme Himself. Now, who is that Supreme? Thyself beyond time. That is the high God, Supreme, he has to meet. Now, here, he is not telling, he is not disclosing how she is going to meet the Supreme. That will happen only by going through the passage of death. Savitri vanquishes death, cuts the door through the void, and goes to Sachidananda. Even there, she sees again death in the transformed form, transfigured form there. And then she challenges him again. And then behind that death, she sees the Supreme. That is the high God. That is the made a greater God, the Supreme. Now, that whole trajectory of her moving forward to the Supreme and meeting the Supreme, why should she meet Supreme? Because it is He who is going to give her the boon of new manifestation, of new life, of new work here. How she is going to meet that Supreme? Only through the door of death. Only through the door of death. The door of death is the death of her lover. That is what is actually implied in these lines here. Now, he has given a kind of a picture of what Savitri has to do. That does not really tell at this point that Savitri has to start doing yoga. What it tells us is that word of Yogi Ashwapati has sunk in her soul in order to discover love. And it is through the discovery of love she is going to meet death. And then, after vanquishing death, she will ascend to the greater God. To the greater God. So there is a kind of a consistency in all these descriptions in Savitri. Wherever you open, you find that they are all interconnected in a way, you see. But Savitri's yoga begins, as I said, with the utterance of Narad. Narad comes 1 hour before Savitri's arrival and then later on tells that Satyavan has to die, etc., etc. And then finally, what does it say? Toward the end, Narad tells Savitri's mother, even if he seems to leave her to her lone strength, even though all falters and falls and sees an end, and the heart fails, and only our death and night God given, her strength can battle against doom. Even on a brink where death alone seems close, and no human strength can hinder or can help. Well, that is obvious. God given her strength. Now, she has to acquire that strength, God given strength. She has to acquire. Yes, she is there. The strength is there, but she has to acquire. How is she going to acquire? She has to do yoga. Again, coming back to that point, God given strength. Yes, she has come with that strength, but she has taken a human birth. Why she has to do yoga? Because Narad is also cautious in telling that God given her strength can battle. It doesn't say will battle. He doesn't say will battle. Because Savitri has not yet at this point of time, has not done the yoga to gather the divine force in her soul. When she gathers that, then God given her strength will battle against doom. When the yoga is done, the line will be rewritten. And then Narad tells to Savitri's mother, the human soul, think not to intercede with the hidden will. Savitri has come with that adesh of the hidden will. Narad knows the will. It is not hidden for him, but it is hidden for Savitri at this point. At this point, it is hidden for Savitri. In order to see it again, she has to prepare herself to see what that hidden will is there. She has to prepare yogically to see that hidden will. See, intrude not twixt her spirit and its force of the will, of the hidden will. Don't come in the way, see, but leave her to her mighty self and fate. Leave her to her mighty self. That is the assurance Narad is giving to Savitri's mother. Yes, hers is a mighty self, and that mighty self will know how to conquer death, how to meet fate. It is that certitude which is expressing in that mighty self. Savitri is not aware at the moment about her mighty self. She has to become aware of her mighty self. When she becomes aware of her mighty self, then she can meet fate. Then she can meet fate. So, we are already prepared all through why Savitri has to do yoga.